So
Yeah.
it is possible for people to be able to buy land in Ghana
Hmm.
successfully and not be
Successfully.
defrauded.
Exactly. Exactly.
When our bones hit that ground, it's like we are in that land, and if somebody want to pick them
Hmm.
bones up and throw them away, that's what they're gonna
Yeah.
do. What we gonna do? Get up and haunt them or something?
Right. Yeah, hold on. Put that bone back. Like,
My tibia, move my
yeah.
tibia.
My sinews is dry. Like,
Hey, everybody, this is the big follow up interview I know everyone has been waiting for because several months ago, I had a chance to talk to Leslie Jones in Accra, Ghana, and she
yes.
was so excited about her new property venture, beachfront property in
Hmm.
Ghana,
Yes.
just setting this thing off. She was going to do the daggone thing. And so
Do
now,
it.
and so now we're back for an update, and I'm telling you, everybody, get your pens, your pads, your iPads,
Seatbelt.
all
Just
seat
lock
belts.
in.
Get your out. We got to go back and get the iPod.
Yeah.
Get your Palm Pilots out. Go get your
Oh,
yeah.
blueberries.
I dropped that. And get your rotary phones. Go get your
Razors.
get your beepers. Whatever you have, get ready because this is a conversation I believe anyone who's looking to do international investing anywhere, there are some principles you're going to be able to learn and walk away from Leslie's experience because now, as we come to this portion, I believe
Hmm.
she's going to share a whole lot. Leslie, how you doing?
Yes. No lie, I have nothing to complain about, but a lot to share. And yourself?
I'm doing well. You're in California now, right?
Yes, I'm in Los Angeles currently. Yeah.
Los Angeles. Now
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
loving the fro. The fro is
Thank
like,
you.
yeah, the fro. That's right. I mean, that's the official fro. It makes me want to like go like
Go back.
make me. You know what I told you? I used to
Show
rock
them
a
the
fro.
ginger pro.
I got the fro. I used to rock a fro too. This was night.
Look at
I
that.
don't even know what year
Woo!
this was. That's right. I had a fro, and it could use some of the what is it, natural
The
oils.
prepping.
This is like a
You
little
need,
boy fro who just came back in from outside playing at Montessori school. That was
yeah, you need the coconut oil, the grapeseed oil, and the pig. And the
yeah, all of
prep.
the
The day
above. It
before
just
prep.
needed all of it. It was and so that was back in the day. But anyway, all right, Leslie, you have had this experience in Ghana. You went
Yes.
and you bought beachfront property in Ghana,
Hmm.
and everything went perfectly.
Negative, negatory. So when we did the interview, I was at the point where I was waiting for my official site plan. So I had an indenture, right? And they tell us once you get the indenture, it's a done deal. Most people in Ghana don't even go for the land certificate because the indenture is strong enough.
Now, what is an
So,
indenture for those who don't know?
so the indenture is the agreement you make with who you purchase the property from. So either you have the indenture between you and the chief, you and the developer, or you and the estate company, or you and the family.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's like them saying, we're giving this to you for this amount of time. They can also put stipulations in there like, okay, don't build a church, or, you can only build only 2 levels high. So it's like very specific when it comes to the indenture. What they put in there is what you can do on the land. Yeah.
Okay, so you got your
Yeah.
indenture.
Yeah. So the indenture I got when I interviewed with you was worthless.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I didn't know that an indenture can be unregisterable. And I'm like, how is this? So that the indenture I got literally was I could write indenture on a paper and give it to the lands commission. And it would have equaled the same value as that indenture that was given to me. That's how worthless it was. And so this is my whole story. So when I got to the land, I have a land consultant. And he said, before you buy anything, you do a lands commission search and that you bring a surveyor to the land to make sure whoever's selling it to you has the right to do so. Because if their name, whoever's selling it to you, and their name is not on that paperwork, who are you talking to, and who's selling you this land? You know. And so I did that, and the results came back another person. Yes. So I said, what is going on? And so I talked to the developer. I said, who this person's on is not your name. Who is this? Come to find out, it was my neighbor's name on the plots that I was getting. Ooh. Yes. Yeah. So we found out that whoever the data entry person basically put the wrong names on the wrong plots when he was putting in his information. Ooh. Yes. So it was just, yeah, go ahead.
So how did you navigate that?
It was a ridiculous process. So once we found that out, the developer and my land consultant, we all got together and said, what can we do? And they're like, okay, the quickest way we can do is, instead of the developer giving me the indenture, because he can't, because it's not in his name, he just had Vicky create the indenture in Vicky's name so Vicky can sign it over to me.
Okay.
Yeah, so because that was the quickest way. We're like, okay, let's do that. Thank goodness we're all cordial. So it wasn't like it was fraud or anything. It was just a data entry error. Okay. Right.
And that's
so we found say it one more time.
No, I was gonna say that's part of the due diligence phase, I guess, that you were going through, or is that
right? Yeah, because it's part of, we want to make sure everything is in order, decent and in order, so everything can just run smooth. So usually some people don't even do surveys or go to the lands commission. They just say, oh, I want this land, you can sell it to me, boom, they just give their money, and that's how they get frauded out of their money. So that's why when people say, oh, you want land, oh, they're going to take your money, they're going to screw you, like all that, I'm like, no, there has to be a way to get through this without doing that. And doing a survey and a lands commission search is the way to do that. And that's how everything that was incorrect came to the surface.
So it is possible for people to be able to buy land in Ghana successfully and not be defrauded.
Exactly. And so after that process, we had the interview. I was waiting for my official site plans with the stamp from the commission. And
I waited for that. In the interview, you were excited. I was excited.
Because that alone was a long process, because Chase Bank, I sent my money to the developer 3 times. And on the 3rd time, Chase told me, oh, we don't service Ghana. There's some regions we don't service. So I'm like, why did you let me transfer my money 3 times? I lost 3 weeks out of that. And now you're going to tell me that you don't serve Ghana. I'm like, well, that was a waste of time. Right. So when my money hit, I was happy. So that's why you caught me in that whole groove. I'm like, the money's there. Because he didn't give me my indenture until the money hit. So when I got my indenture, I was like, yes, I'm there. Come to find out, I gave the indenture to the representative in Central Region. She was like, we can't do nothing with this.
I know you got sick at that point. I
I was so hot. I got all my paperwork. I set an appointment up with the developer. I gave everything back to him. I was like, this is worthless. So figure it out, And at that point, I'm already in Ghana for 2 months already, waiting for things to get done. And I gave it all back to him. I recorded what the Lands Commission representative said I needed to do. And so I gave that recording to the developer. He's like, okay, I see. Because the person on the land, her name, she didn't even register the land in her name. So she couldn't even write the land to me, write it off to me. Oh. So her name was on the land, but because it wasn't registered, basically the government wants their money too.
Right, of course.
She didn't get to that step. So she didn't even have a right to write an indenture for me to transfer it to my name.
She had to go get registered.
Right. And then
all her business in the streets.
Right.
Now she trying to be on the low. Now all her business in the street, right?
On the street, on my YouTube channel. But she's a sweetheart, and she said we're gonna get through this together.
Well, that's
so good. Yeah.
Shout out to Vicky. Shout out.
Thank you. Shout out to Vicky.
Shout out to you, because you could have been. She could have been difficult and be like, well, know what? Really, if you want me to go through all that, you know how folks can be. you know, you
Right.
break me off a little extra.
Off something.
What is it for
And
me? Yeah. Oh yeah. But
right.
so that's good that she
But
did.
she's from the States actually. She's retired from Boeing.
I
Yeah. So
kind of
that's my
sensed that she was from the States. I kind of,
yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
kind of I'm putting this together, and that's a good thing, you know. And I'm glad that it all worked out to that point. So,
To that point.
yeah. So,
Let's continue, shall we?
so how, so how did it go after that? After all that
So
shook
after
out?
after I gave the indentures and everything back and I told the developer work on it, I left. I came back to the States. I said, this is a waste of my time and my money. Because every day I'm there is money. My
Yeah.
Airbnb, my food, all that stuff. And so I went back home. I said, figure it out and treat me like one of your clients that, is from a different country. Because I've been cleaning up after everyone and I'm done, you know.
Ooh.
So he goes, so Vicky goes to start getting it registered. The Central Lands Commission looked at her paperwork and said, "Oh, this is faulty." And
Uh-oh.
we're like, "What?" Mind you, the site plan and the indentures come from Central Region. They're the ones putting this paperwork together. So now she goes to Central Region and says, "Okay, we're ready to register." They're like, "Oh, this is not correct."
Ooh.
Come to find out, the Lands Commission search and the site plan department, they don't intertwine. So that's why the information was different in their system. So the developer called and was like, this is ridiculous. Find out what the issue is. So they go back, check their paperwork, and like, oh, the mistake is on our side.
Ooh.
It was a typographical error. Basically, they just data entry issues. The same issue first time is the same issue the second time. So they're like, oh, we're sorry. So now they changed it in the system. So the site plan and the land commission search match. And so when we did it all over again, guess whose name popped up? The developer's name popped up on the paperwork. So now the developer, we can do an indenture between me and the developer because it's in his name now, which it always was, but the two departments didn't mingle. And so they had different information. Yeah.
That sounds like some stuff that happens in America too, though. Where you were talking about, I said, yeah, this stuff go down in America. But,
Yeah.
but but that communication and I guess the miscommunication between the two, it created all of this extra. So then
Extra stuff. Extra. And
and
I
that's something
stayed.
people need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, something that could have took 2 weeks took almost a little over 3 months.
Because
Yeah.
someone made some typographical errors.
Yes. I was like, how is this possible for it to even be wrong? That's the whole reason to do a lands commission search is to find out. But they're like, sometimes it does happen. It's just human error, you know?
Yeah.
And then, so now that the indenture is done, it's stamped, it's between me and the developer. And I mailed it on what day? It should arrive in Ghana February 4th. So it's a done deal. It's registered. Now the next step is the land certificate. Yeah, but went
Now,
through
what's the next step
all
for the
that.
land certificate? Now, what's that? That sounds like something else, another layer.
Yes, it's another obstacle. So
Yeah.
the land I have is stool land, and stool land is the longest registration process. So the Lands Commission takes care, basically manages the stool land for the chief. Okay, so like if I were to buy land directly from a family, we would just do the deal; it'll be done. But since I have to go through the Lands Commission, I have to get the original indenture between the chief and the land developer, so to go with my indenture and site plan and a layout of what I plan on doing on the land, and that will start my land certificate process, which can take 6 months, and the longest my representative said 3 years. And I'm like, no, this needs to be done quicker because I need my land certificate to raise funding, right? Because indenture, investors, they don't care about indenture. They want to see what we consider a title. They call it a land certificate over there. Okay. So I'm gonna start that. So once my papers hit that land, now I gotta wait for the developer to give me that original indenture, which he said it's in a different country and he needs to get it scanned and sent. So I'm like, so how long is this gonna take? which it shouldn't. It
In a
should. You
different
should have
country.
your
Wait a minute.
yeah, because
Hold on. You got to rewind that little piece right there. That could slide by somebody like, hold on, you ain't Ghana. Why is something else? In which country is it in?
Germany. Yeah. So this developed. So he builds. This developer has built in several countries, and so he said it's in that country, and he needs, So that's a whole different journey. So we're gonna see how long it takes him to get what I need. And if
Okay, hold on. Okay. What's in Germany? I'm trying to figure out how Germany even gets into the middle. What does Germany have to do with this?
Because he's from Germany. He's Ghanaian, but he was raised in Germany. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all his business started in Germany, and then he wants to come back to Ghana because he's Ghanaian, and he's on that, like, my people. Okay. I'm gonna come back and support my people.
Okay.
So that's why it's there.
Okay, I just, me, I'm, certain things, anything, UK, Germany, France, Spain, Italy,
right?
They're like, what y'all doing? So
right.
I just needed to understand the context of that. So so he's Ghanaian who was raised in Germany. He's now coming back to Ghana to do what he's doing. Okay, all right.
To do what he's doing, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So so we'll see how long it takes him to get that to us, and so that's where I am now.
Well, it might give you some more time to raise some of the capital to be able to do the project too. It might, sometimes.
No, that's the thing. Without that, I can't start my land certificate process.
You can't even raise the money, do
you? Yeah.
But you know what? This is good. And I'm going to tell you why this is good. Because a lot of times what happens in America, we romanticize moving to a different country, in particular Africa, because either we've watched too many reruns of Black Panther or Coming to America. And so we're thinking in our mind, I'm leaving America and I'm going to go to Africa and it's just going to be, all of this, but without even considering the fact that it's a different system. It's a very similar colonial system in many countries in Africa, but it's different based upon whoever's working in those offices and all of that. So you
different culture. Their integrity.
Yeah, all of the above, or capacity to be able to execute certain tasks. It just depends on the individual, So, but that part of it, did you at any point in time had you romanticized this process?
At the beginning, for sure, because when I had the idea to go to Ghana, it was really influenced by Ghanaian influencers on YouTube, and so they made it look good, They don't show the streets, how they're just dirt streets, They don't show that, people are bribing you, or the people that surround your car as you're driving to the street asking for money or trying to sell their product, And I didn't see when I first went to Ghana, I had a tour guide and he said, I want to show you how the actual Ghanaians live. So I didn't see any of what the influencers put on YouTube. I was on a troll when I first went to Ghana. I, ate fruit from the street vendors, right? I didn't go to a bougie hotel built by some type of European or Lebanese. No, I stayed at a mom and pop hotel the first time I went. You had
a more indigenous experience.
Exactly. So to go from what, for example, like Vanessa Canby or Maya shows to having been to my first experience is the indigenous experience, I was like, no. I was shocked. I'm like, what is this? So that's when I realized, like, okay, this is different. And another thing that got me was, even though, they say they're free and they're not colonized, white people are running the banks. Every bank I went to, because I wanted to get information.
So break it down.
Yeah.
This is my channel. Break it all down.
Yes.
Break it on down.
Because I was like, okay, let me see if I can get a loan for my project. From here on the land, on Ghanaian land. Besides the Ghanaian banks, of course, I couldn't qualify for it because I'm not a citizen. All the other banks were European owned, but Black people were working it. So to me, I'm like, oh, this is a type of blackface, in my opinion, because the person really behind it is from Switzerland or a European country, but everything you see is Black.
Yeah.
You see Black people running it. So every single bank outside of Ghanaian banks were ran by a foreigner. Their CEO is from a different country. And so how I found out was when I got there, I'm like, who's your CEO? Because I love the origin of things. I studied, like, where did this start?
You must be my sister or something. That word I use a whole lot, the origins. We got to study the origins of this stuff.
The origin of things. Yeah. And every time I asked, they said the same thing. Oh, no, yeah, it's a white man. It's a white man. It's a white man. So I'm like, wow. And the loans that they did have for foreigners that are trying to build in Ghana, the interest rates were ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. I don't remember. I just remember it was ridiculous. I'm like, this is crazy. First of all, it's not owned by an African, so I'm not even looking into all your details. So I stopped right there. I said, ooh, ooh, bye. Yeah. But when I did listen to some people on like YouTube pages, the interest rate was horrible. And
but, that's part of what this whole debt system is, to be able to. I would be curious about what the interest rates even look like at the Ghanaian banks, because then you have to ask yourself, where do the resources come from the Ghanaian banks? Because it might be Ghanaian owned, but then where does the funding come from? Where do the resources so, like you talk about origins, and because finance, like I think I'm probably like a stealth kind of dude, because like their conversations, people try to slip on me, but they don't know that like my background is financial literacy and understanding global systems. So they try to slip something on me, and I'm like, no. Let's check the World Bank and the IMF on this one. And so I wonder if the money is coming from the IMF. Now, I don't know, and maybe some people who are there locally could talk about where the money comes from.
That's a good question.
In from the Ghanaian banks, because we know the French, like the Francophone countries, the French run that money. So that's just the bottom line. The Mali and Cote d'Ivoire and places like that, and then Togo, they say the franc. So guess what? That's French, French owned and operated.
And Ghana's still part of the Commonwealth, so.
Well, I'm about to do this series called Awakening, the Decolonization of the Mind, and I talk about how when we do things, even for those of us in America, what ends up happening is we think we're running from America. I got to get out of America because America don't like us. The racism in America so bad, so I'm going to Africa. Okay, cool. That's fine. I get it. Now, if you're trying to leave racism, you probably won't experience that in most African countries where there's a lot of melanin present, and the people are not tolerating that from those who are foreign coming in. But when you look at the system, it's the same system. When I go to open my business in Ghana, I get my EIN the same way I get my EIN in America. I have my Ghana EIN. It was the same process. It was. That's what hit me. I said, wait a minute, this is identical. Now, here's the part that was different though. The cost. It cost me like $2,700 to open my business in Ghana, where it cost me close to nothing, $200-300 to open it in America.
Right. You did it on your own, right? You didn't have a Ghanaian partner.
Oh no, I do.
Oh, you do have it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because you learn in these streets that you learn these streets. I mean, streets are streets wherever they are. In America, there's streets in America. You got to learn how to navigate in the same way. So you go over to Africa, you got to learn how to navigate.
Right.
So, but with that though, what you begin to learn is that things are not as independent as they appear. And we are in a global economy, and so that's the one thing that I walk away with from all of it. But with that said, you went in to get loans, and you found out that these banks are owned by Europeans. You didn't qualify for the Ghanaian banks. How did you endure all of this? Because I know our culture, I know where we come from in America. I know I know our history, how we've been trained, and for many of us, we are not adversity tolerant to certain things.
Ooh, well said.
Yeah, did I say that the right way?
You said very politically correct.
There's certain things. I even gave us credit for other things. There's certain things we're just not adverse tolerant, to certain things. So it's like, because you've gone through adversity,
right?
Frustrations. I can only imagine the vocabulary expressions that came as a result of some of the frustrations, thoughts that came. how would you encourage someone who comes from our culture, who's not, maybe this is their first venture into something international? What kind of
Mm-hmm.
words of advice would you offer to them to endure? Because it can be beneficial still on both sides. But what
Right.
words could you offer to them?
Two things. One, what's your vision? Because when I was upset, I even cried sometimes, like, "Oh, what?" Like,
You
But
got
I
tears out of you.
said, yeah. But I said, okay, Leslie, why are you doing this? Because you can easily go to the States and make some chips and make this guap,
Hmm.
and get
Hmm.
into real estate there. Why here? And I said, I don't, in my heart, I do not see myself investing in the States. Okay. I don't see myself contributing to the States. So I'm going to contribute somewhere. And so when I had the vision of doing what I'm doing, I said, this is where I want to contribute. So my vision is contribution. Where do I want to contribute? And United States is not an option for me. Like, it's not in my heart. It's like nowhere. It's not. So there is no other choice for me.
I got it.
That's my mentality.
I got it. I got
There's
it.
no other choice.
Yeah,
What
I
am I
got
gonna
it.
go back and protest again on the street? So killing. No, it's done. That's old. I mean,
I
I'm
got it.
over it. Are you? I mean,
But no, I get it because some people, there are different movements out here that like get on people for going to invest in Africa. I mean, they mock it.
it's
They say, "Oh,
crazy.
why are you wasting your time doing that?" Somebody in one of my comments was like, "Well, going back to Africa is like going back to the scene of the crime." I'm like, "And so staying in America is any different?" I'm saying, what is your problem? Have you studied have
Yeah.
you read, have you lived in America to,
All
to
right.
understand the scene of the crime? But there are a lot of people out there who think along that wavelength of whatever that is. And so, but I get it. Okay,
It's
okay. All right.
it's vision. It's vision because my vision is not just for me. I'm looking into generations.
Hmm.
I'm looking 4 generations down. So yes, I'm going through hell with getting land and whatever, but after it's done, it's done. So if I spend, let's say, 2 years on this process, I have 99 plus years or 4 generations that they don't have to go through this ever again.
Right.
What small price? What's a small price?
But again, that's vision.
That's what I'm saying. That number one thing is vision. And
Yeah.
number two is what you told me. You said this is experience tuition. I was like, oh, like vision. And what I'm going through is experience tuition. I'm just paying for the experience of what I'm going through. Because once it's done, it's like when you go to school. Once you get your bachelor, once you get your degree, you're done. Unless
Right.
you decide to go back. But if you don't have to, why? You
Yeah.
know?
And all the drama
So
that came along with it, it's done.
it's done. And whoever my family comes after me, they'll never have to go through what I went through. What? That price is so small to be. Now my children, grandchildren, they can just sit on the beachfront property and say, thanks, grandma, for going through that 2 year struggle.
That 2 year
What?
struggle, that 2 year struggle, which is really, when you think about the struggles, how about this? I'll even bring it like this. Our ancestors in America who struggled to give us
Mm-hmm.
opportunities that they might not have had. Some people try to say, well, no, don't. And it's like they struggled and went through what they went through. So we would have the option to be able to do what you're
Option.
doing, to do what you're doing,
Right.
to go back and
Right.
travel the world and invest wherever you decide.
Option.
The options.
Options. Period. And I was like, I want my family to have options because I'm like, um, when I have because I'm an Uber drive, right? So when I have my
Yeah, I think you are my
passengers,
sister. But you really are my sister. I'll tell you in a
hey,
second. But go ahead. I'll tell you in a second. But go ahead.
okay,
Let's get
yeah,
real
and
good.
that's why I bought my land with my Uber money because I
Mm,
drove through the pandemic. So I said, there's no way I'm coming out of this pandemic with all this free time the same at the end. I said, give me this Uber account. Let me stack these chips because I'm going and go buy land, that beachfront property. So I saved up my money to buy this land, and my passengers they're like, oh yeah, we're dual citizen. Almost all of them, because I'm driving in LA, so I'm picking up a lot of people that are on vacation, that are out of the country. Most of them speak multiple languages, have dual citizenship, and they can just bounce at any time. It's like, oh yeah, my family, we have land in Paris, or we have land in Mexico, or we have land in the Bahamas, we have land in Jamaica. They can just bounce at any time. And I evaluated my life and I said, oh my goodness, my family can't bounce anywhere.
You stuck on
We
this
don't have any.
plantation. You stuck on this
Yeah.
plantation, shucking corn and picking cotton.
Yes. I said, oh my gosh, my family doesn't have an option to just jump, skip, and hop anywhere they want to. Because one guy, he was from Kenya. He said, yeah, my parents, I have land in Kenya. He's like, and Trump, y'all, this is crazy. I'm going to just go back to Kenya and just do my Airbnb thing. Like, he can just leave and go back to Kenya. What? And my family can't do nothing.
Y'all.
So I said, yes, my family will have options, and that's why I went to Ghana and drove, saved my money to get the land.
You know, that's another that part of the story I didn't know. And the more you keep talking, I'm convinced. I'm convinced that we have to be related at some point, because back in 2016, I was riding in an Uber and I was getting ready for my summer camp. And the gentleman was telling me about his brother making $19,000 one month driving for Uber. Now, when I heard that, you know, that kind of caught my attention. I was like, he did what? 19 G's a month. I'm gonna round that up to 20. That sounds like 240 a year just driving your car around. I said, I need to find out for myself. I want to know if I got to go see for myself. So I hopped out there and I called myself driving, doing this Uber experiment in 2016. So the joke was really on me, because I was out there hustling. I think I drove one day like 24 hours. I made like $635 that day. And so I was out there getting it. But I kept meeting all of these people from all around the world, and I kept meeting people from Africa. And that's when I realized, I said, I am Africa ignorant. And I met this young lady from Ethiopia, and she schooled me on Ethiopia like a child in kindergarten. And I said to myself, I need to somehow get to this continent, because there are things I don't know. I was meeting people from South Africa, people from Zimbabwe. And I joked with them one time. I said, well, you know, when I get to Zimbabwe, tell me about the food in Zimbabwe. I said, one day I'm going to go to Zimbabwe. And they laughed at me. You know, little did they realize. And so I had people when I was driving, they say, you need to have a podcast. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I thought about it, and then before you know it, 2018 came around, and I finally took my first trip. But my point is about driving for Uber. Like, from that point, I created a course. I started training people on how to make the money driving for Uber, what times to go, when not to go.
Right.
My son, he does DoorDash, and so I trained him. I said, this is what you do. I didn't do DoorDash, but I told him, I said, this is what you do.
There's strategy to it.
Yeah, but he went out there and he was making $2,700 a week driving DoorDash. So I was like, man, you're making over $100,000 a year doing driving. So to see, this is for those who are out there trying to figure it out. You took Uber money to go buy your land in Ghana. Isn't that something?
2 years. Yeah. After I escaped from China, I came back. That's a whole different story. So after I got back from China, I landed February 13th. I got my car registered February 20th, and I drove for 2 years and saved up my money. I bought land. I bought an acre in another area, and then I saved up more money and bought the beachfront property. Yeah.
Oh, so you have 2 plots in Ghana?
So I have an acre in Kirikrom, Central Region, and then I have 2 plots of the beachfront property, and it's close to Salt Pond.
Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah.
This is inspiring. I mean,
and you know what? I was so upset because I had 2 choices: buy the acre or go to Sierra Leone.
We must be related, because I was just getting ready to go there. It was my next statement was Sierra Leone, but go ahead.
So I was like, okay, buy this acre because it's so affordable, or go to Sierra Leone for my citizenship, because I got my AfricanAncestry.com results, 100% Sierra Leone from the Mende tribe. So I qualified for a citizenship. So I was like, you know what? I really want land. So I decided to go get land instead of my citizenship. But now that I look back, I should have wanted to get my citizenship. I think I would have been there with you.
You probably would have, but you know what? you can get your citizenship, but the land was what you went through with the land and going through with the land. That part is valuable too, because now you can go get the citizenship when you're ready, and but I think that's the cool part, because for those who don't know, we both descend from the area we now know as Sierra Leone. You're Mende, I'm Timene, and so from that region, that part of the world, and it's more and more people are discovering their African ancestry roots, their ancestry roots, the different roots that they have on the continent. So I think that's cool. I think that if you get a chance to go, Sierra Leone is different from Ghana. What I tell people, when I was in Freetown reminded me of a combination. This is an interesting combination. A combination of Zanzibar and Accra. Right.
See, I don't know what Zanzibar. I've never been there.
Zanzibar is a very heavily Muslim country, like 99% Muslim.
Oh wow.
Real chill. I mean, I could live in Zanzibar for real. I mean, it's like that kind of world. I could just live. I could just live. I could just live in Zanzibar. Right. But I could live in Ghana too. So where you have that, what you have is the Arab influence and the British influence in African people.
Okay.
Coupled with an American influence in Freetown. So that's what I felt when I was there. It was that kind of vibe in Sierra Leone, and you'll see when you go there. It's very familiar. The people are very nice. It's just a wonderful place on a people level. As far as the infrastructure that we're familiar with, it's probably about 30 years behind where Ghana is.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So the roads and but again, I've learned how to adapt. Like when you get off at the airport in Sierra Leone, you got to catch a ferry or else you're going to do like a 4-hour drive to get to Freetown. So a lot of what you do is waterway travel. If you go out to the different ethnic groups, then you'll like the Timene, we had to go out on the border, but it was fine. It was just, you just have to adapt in that sense. But outside of that, I mean, everybody was chill. Everybody was, it was just it was a really warm kind of experience, and you got more of a feel of the indigenous. What I often say about where I've been in Africa is I see remnants of the indigenous, because colonization is so strong. The stronghold in all of the systems, even the land system that you're going through right now, is a system of colonization, because that's what they created and left. That wasn't something that was indigenous to Ghana. So
I learned that the philosophy in Ghana is God owns the land, the chiefs were given stewardship over it, and no one owns nothing. We're here on God's earth. That's like the philosophy I learned from Ghana, and no one owns nothing. I'm like, okay, I accept it. I'm renewing my mind, because even like you said, the system is colonized, but there was a system before colonization.
Yes,
and that was a system. God owns the land, no one owns nothing. We're just giving stewardship over it. Yeah.
And when you think about it, it's the truth. I mean, when you really think about it, because we all have to leave here. We can't take the land with us. As a matter of fact, we become a part of the land, when it's all said and done.
Dust to dust, ashes to ashes.
That's right. When our bones hit that ground, it's like we are in that land. And if somebody want to pick them bones up and throw them away, that's what they're going to do, What we going to do? Get up and haunt them or something?
Right. Yeah, hold on. Put that bone back. Like
my tibia, move my tibia.
My sinews is dry. Like so. And then so the reason I regret not getting my citizenship, because of what I went through or what I'm going through. So I bought that land outright in March of 2021. We still have no indentures. We have no site plans, no nothing. And so one of my biggest issues was they moved my land without telling me. Like, how do you move the land? Yeah, they decided to move my land, and they say, "Oh, just change your contract." This is a different company. Yeah, this is a different land.
You did the video about them?
Yes.
Okay, so you put them on blast. You let them know. You told people.
Yes,
okay. I did. And I'm cool with that. I mean, if it's something shady going on, because sometimes what we'll do is we'll be disingenuous to people, and we'll try to paint a picture that's not accurate, and people then they feel deceived, because they're trusting, especially those of us who have platforms, they're trusting us to tell them the truth without throwing shade. Because like I said, there are YouTubers out here throwing shade all over the
Mm-hmm.
place in Ghana, and it's like their existence and their fiber is designed to
Yeah.
throw shade at Ghana. But then on the flip side, if we aren't careful, we'll throw a pendulum so far the other way that all we show is glamour, and then when people
Mm-hmm.
come, they don't hear these types of stories that offer a
Right.
balance, because you're saying you're still investing in Ghana, but hey, watch out for this company because this company isn't right, and this company has some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and what happened
Yes.
to them, so that people understand, and to
Mm-hmm.
be fair, so what happened?
Right. So I'm gonna start with saying that I was emotionally unbalanced. I'm excited, right? I can afford some land in Africa, right? So this company at the time was, so what they would do, they were the middleman. They lived in Ghana, so people from the states would pay them to give the money to cost for the land. So awesome system, great. I mean, and awesome people too.
Okay.
But they're learning as they were going too. But see, we didn't know this. We're just like, okay, they have a company, we give them our money, they give it to cost, and we get our indentures, right?
Uh-oh.
Because not everyone's going to go to Africa themselves. Some people just want land, someone else to handle it. So I did that, but I also I went for myself. I took videos of the land. I want to make
Yes.
sure I did my due diligence. I went to the
Yes.
office, and several things happened, but the main thing was, OMG. Like one day I woke up and I got an email saying, "Oh, your plots have been moved." And I said, "What?" Because in the contract, you don't change nothing until we talk and confirm, like, okay, let's go.
Right.
That didn't happen. And
They just
so
took over
when
the
I
land.
said, yeah, I was like, this is a breach of contract. I want my money back. And
Mm.
the middleman that I was paying to handle it, they're like, we'll talk to them, but this is outside of our scope of business. So they're like, you have to contact them directly. And I said, why was my land moved? I want my money back. He said, this is not a breach of contract. The only way you get your money back is if we give you bad land. I was like, you moved my land because it was bad. You told me that it rained and you guys saw that the land wasn't good. And then you moved my land without telling me. So basically that qualifies for me to get my money back,
Right. The contract is void.
Right. Exactly. And so he said, this is not a breach of contract. And if you want your money back, you have to build something on the land and then you get 80% once we sell it, the land, 80% back. And that was the main thing that just put me over the top. That really, and then mind you, we're part of a community. There's a lot of people, and they just basically said they were behind 1,000 indentures. That's 1,000 indentures, and because the team, they had lawyers. They found out that the CEO was running for politics. That's why he kept on canceling because he was so busy. And so little things like that or kept on stacking up, and and then I found out that one of the representatives contacted someone from the community to tell me to take my video down because it's causing too much question. The people are starting to question our representation. I'm like, no, no, like what? People should question,
Yeah, if they're moving
right?
land around and not giving people their money back, somebody needs to question them, and people probably need to stop taking their money there. That's probably until they get
Yeah,
worked out. I'm all for people. I understand mistakes happen in business, and I understand that there are things that occur. But if you're not willing to make good on the mistake, then you don't need to be in business, and people need to be aware of what you're doing and
nowhere.
perhaps
Yeah,
not take their business to you. I mean,
right.
that's yeah.
And changing things after the contract signed. So we were told that we had to pay money to get their name off our final paperwork. So there's an indenture, right? But then there's a land certificate. And to get their name off this land certificate, we have to give them money to take your name off.
Yeah.
What? How
See,
come we didn't know this ahead of time?
yeah. See, that's some ghetto
Right?
stuff right there. That's called ghetto business. I'm just gonna tell you, because like folks trust when you start. That's ghetto business. So when you
Mm-hmm.
start, and you have to be prepared for some of that. That's why, and normally what ends up happening is, this is what I see in international investments across the board. They do their market research, and they do
Mm-hmm.
all of that stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were some European entities behind this on some level, and there might be this one company at the front taking the fall, because that's what they do. That's what colonization does. They
Mm-hmm.
work behind the scenes. They put the black people up front. Then we see them, we trust them, and then they basically, when something goes down, the black people or black politicians or whoever, they take the fall. We look at them while the
Mm-hmm.
colonizing entities behind the scenes collecting all the money. That's just
That's why I say it's a new form of blackface.
yeah.
I will forever say that. I will forever
Yeah,
say that.
I firmly believe that happens on many levels. And so what I encourage people to do is, and this is the reason why I don't encourage people to run from investing internationally and in particular Africa, because the Chinese do it fearlessly. The Lebanese do it fearlessly.
They're buying them land like hotcakes.
Yeah, they do it fearlessly. They deal with the drama and they do what they need to do. They pay off who they need to pay off. If so-and-so say they need 50 extra cedis off to the side, they do what they need to do. They get
They
the
have a
land.
vision.
They do what they have to do. But for us, then we get our feelings. I'm going back. I'm going back to Chicago. I'm going back to Chicago. But didn't you go through some of that though?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I questioned. I'm like, Leslie, you don't have to go through this. You don't. But then I look at, okay, what am I going back to?
But
what am I going back to?
But some people go back to Egypt with, not Egypt that we, some people go back to Egypt with no problem. And I'm referencing like the biblical.
Right.
You're doing that time because some people think he's talking about Egypt. I'm not talking about modern Egypt. I'm talking about the Bible story, people set free from Egypt, and then they got in the wilderness, and then they said, "Oh, wouldn't we be better off back in Egypt?"
Right.
So some people feel better off in their land of captivity, or some people don't even see it as captivity. Some people, there are all kinds of perspectives on this thing. It becomes very interesting, But one thing I know is that with the Chinese, they're in Africa deep. Everybody's in Africa deep. The French are there deep. The Germans are there deep. The Russians are there deep. The Italians.
And that's another reason I'm like, there's no way I'm going to quit, because it makes no sense for other cultures, other ethnic groups, other countries to come here and buy land and be successful. And us.
Yeah.
We're not. No, I refuse. That's just, I can't even accept it. It's not even acceptable.
There's that's no what way. I'm saying. That's what I appreciate about your journey, because you get it, and you're willing to persevere. So it speaks more to your character that you're willing to endure the drama. And then the stuff we deal with, because they see us, if they don't know that we're from there, how some Black folks are, and I say Black folks meaning internationally. Sometimes they will give people who look like them a harder time than their colonial master. And
we experienced it on our tours. Yeah. Giving white people stuff for free, but we got to pay right in front of our face.
Oh no.
What? I was like, so we were somewhere, and it was cocoa. I wanted some cocoa. And I'm like, okay, so how much is the cocoa? I started getting the money out. This white guy comes and said, oh, what's that? Cocoa. He's like, oh man, I don't have any money. You telling me you ain't even from here? You're on vacation. You ain't got no money to pay for this cocoa. So he just gives him cocoa for free while I have to get in my pocket and pay him. Go get the money to pay this man for his business.
Hey, they would have never gotten a dime from me. I'd have called them out. I've had to do that. All throughout the continent. I've had to go in on folks and say, you know what? One dude at a restaurant, he came at me. I said, if I were white, he wouldn't be talking to me like this. And he's like, oh, he said, oh. He did just like that. I said, your colonial master. I said, well, you would not talk to your colonial master like that. I said, the way that you came at me, and I said, I'm bringing money to your establishment, and you go step to me like that? Oh, I can't believe you said that. And I was like, I said, oh, I said it. I said, so now, I said, I will never come back to this establishment again. I said, because I know you would not talk to them like that. I know it. And the only reason why I have not mentioned that restaurant's name is because I talked to a waitress who worked there, and I said, how much money do you all make? She said, we don't make much money at all. I said at that point, I said, I'm not going to make it more difficult for her because I know they don't pay them. They put them on social media. They do little birthday celebrations and the people dance around. It's like their party time. It's like party time. When it's birthday time, the whole restaurant comes out and party up. I mean, it's party up. But people not getting paid. And I said to myself, I said, this is what we deal with. So like for me, what I do now, I look for good service. And so I'm like, where if you're going to respect me, regardless, if you're going to treat me right, first thing I always do is go look for the local owned establishment. But if
Right.
I feel that I'm going to a local owned establishment that's going to mistreat me, then it's like, well, I guess I got to go on over here to you. I'm going over to
YouTube and blast you out.
yeah, go on over to my folks here over here,
Yeah.
because I don't know how I'm gonna do this. But
Right.
you encounter that, but again, and this is what I always tell people. For me, I always take it case by case because you'll run into some really good people, and you'll run into some really locally owned establishments, whether it be restaurants or boutiques, who appreciate their own people, meaning
Right.
their own people, local people. Because I hear a lot of local people say how they're mistreated by their own local. It's like, wow, it's like they'll treat them like trash because they think they're poor. But then
Yeah, classism.
you get some the classism. And I tell people all the time, I say classism, I said racism, it spawns off of the classism thing. I said, because we'll mistreat each other based on how we perceive someone's socioeconomic class. I said, so
right.
It's so many layers to this thing. And I said, wow. So what I do is I spend time building relationships with people.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I've been successful wherever I go, because it's like, I that's what I do. So
the story you shared triggered the experience I had, because Ghana is patriarchal, especially in the land business. So, for example, when I went to Ghana the third time, I stayed in a Airbnb, and the woman of the Airbnb it was a chief's daughter, right? And so the chief in Central Region, and she told me, I'm like, oh, so how come you just didn't inherit the land? They're like, it doesn't go to females. I'm like, is that why I'm not dealing? Is that why I'm not dealing with females in the development sector? I've dealt with only men, right?
well,
From my
oh, okay, but I thought it depends on the ethnic group, because I believe in the Akan, the Ashanti in particular, I believe it goes through the women.
Okay, so this
Now,
whatever
you
tribe
deal with
she's
Fanti?
from,
Were you with the Fanti in the Central Region?
she says she's from the Central Region, and I forgot the specifics, but
Okay, but
all I know is the land couldn't go to her, and it went to a male that wasn't even part of the line. It was like the closest male um, in the family.
interesting.
Yeah,
This
so
becomes
so
more
I'm
and more
like,
interesting.
yeah, I mean, because I'm like, who would have thought Central Region? I'm staying near her house. Her dad used to be a chief, you know. So she said that to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, is that why I'm not dealing with any men as I'm purchasing this land in Central Region? Like, and then when I tested the soil, I had to be not me. I had to be mean, because I was telling them to go to, because the traffic was horrible. So I was like, okay, the soil test is go ahead and we'll meet you there, so we don't have to waste time. He kept on saying, oh no, we'll wait for you, we'll wait for you. He just basically wasn't doing what I was saying to do.
Okay.
I had to get on the phone and I said, this is the last time I'm going to tell you. Go to the land and start the soil test. Like, I had to become that brash.
You had to
Because when
become
I
that you had to become that entitled American, that angry entitled American,
and guess
Black
what?
American at that.
And guess what? He did it right when I became that person. So I said, if I was white, I wouldn't have to deal with this. You would have hop, skipped, and jumped. I mean, he would have went the first time I said go. But I literally, he's like, oh, give me the phone to someone else, because that spoke the language. Make sure she understands that this is why we're not going. I said, no, give me the phone back. And so now I know I have to be that person to get things done.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is international, but this is international investing, and it has not deterred you from doing it. I think that's the part that's because some people, because the mindset from where many of us come from, where we come from, it doesn't take much for us to get spooked and turned around.
Right.
So all of this would have spooked the average person, be like, I'm going back, I can't do it. So, but you're still hanging in
Yeah.
there. You're still
Because I believe that this system. So I think on our last chat, I talked about my website, vision-reality.com.
okay.
And now that I have my indenture, I have evidence that you can go through the system and get what you need. And so now with my website, I'm like, look, people, if this is what you want to do, I'm an avenue for you to do so. I think that's another thing that motivated me, because I had to prove that the system can be done without getting lawyers involved, you know?
And you know what? That could pave the way for a whole lot of resources to come your way. Because you
I'm
have
ready to
paid your
receive.
experience tuition, and somebody else will be willing to pay you to help them not have to pay as much in experience tuition
Right,
because you know what to do.
right. My goodness. Because I truly believe in leading from the front. So I was like, this has to be done. I got to stick this through regardless. So our people, the diaspora in the UK or the Africa, the United States, wherever, they can say, well, she did it. She already has a system. Let's go through that path. And if they don't choose to go through me, they can watch my videos and learn and take notes and start their journey.
And
I
pay
mean,
for your
it's
course.
just.
And pay for your course.
Oh,
for your online course.
Okay.
Let me tell you,
Seed drop.
I'm telling you, don't. Let me tell you something. Don't get these jokers from. You know how folk when we come, they'll take your stuff for free, and they'll come back and they'll say, "Well, thank you so much." Won't even want, and then want to charge you to come visit them. So,
yeah.
Okay.
I'll just say I offer tips in my videos
give a little
to
tips.
help you. Oh, not even a tip.
Yeah, look, you give a tip.
Oh, okay.
Don't give up the goods because you know jokers want something for free. You know how you know how folks be. They want something for free. They want it for free, and they don't want.
I'll just say you don't have to start from scratch if you watch my videos. Boom. I'll just say that. You have an idea of the process.
I know what hey, let me tell you something. Let me tell you what I've learned in business is there are certain times you give certain things away for free to certain people. And so when you know that there's certain those times come about. But by and large, you know, there are a lot of people from our part of the world and other parts of the world too who believe they're entitled to you putting up your experience tuition, you taking your time, you going through all that drama, and somehow in their mind, you're supposed to give it to them.
Give it to them.
And then they just go and run off into the sunset and do all of that. And I tell people all the time, I say, if you want to run a business, first thing you want to learn how to do is invest in something. Invest, put money up. If you're not willing to put money up, whether it could be time, it could be energy or whatever. But if you're going to go to somebody and not be willing to compensate them, then why should somebody be willing to come and compensate you? And so that's a whole business. See, you got me talking business talk now.
Hey, we're here for it.
And I think that the longer I'm in business, the more I realize that when people learn to hold that, because they would not go to like I do tours, and there'll be certain people because they'll see me and they'll see, okay, this is a brother. So they're already coming with the brother, me and my brother.
Put me on that discount.
Yeah, I got 5 people. What you gonna do for me? How you gonna break that off?
Right.
So it's like, okay, cool. I don't have a problem. We're talking business and everything. But then at the same time, in my mind, I'm like, well, why wouldn't you all want to invest in what I'm doing? Why would you want a discount from me? Instead of just saying, brother, you know what? We're gonna bring people. Don't even give us a discount. As a matter of fact, we need as many people as we can get. And we've given all our money to the colonial masters our whole lives, and we all got all this debt with all this interest attached to it. We just give it to them every month. Why can't
every month?
You know, so when I started thinking about that, I was like, I'm not as discount inclined anymore, except for those who travel with me. And then it's like, look, I put people on. I said, look, you got a business. Let's do this thing. We're working this together because this is how it works. And when you begin to do that, you raise the value of what you do. And then you begin to weed out the people who are going to come and give you hell on a trip. Because they'll come in there and they'll just want expecting everything, complaining about everything, and they'll be the first one to want to sue you, want to tear your business apart. So when it comes to you getting ready to start working with folks, you know, qualify them jokers, qualify them, because if you don't, now you got to be talking hood talk now. You know?
We don't want the time wasters.
They're going to come in there playing games. They're going to come in there with the sob story. This, that, and the other. Say, hey, let me qualify you. Give them little tips. This, that, and the other. Hey, when you do your questionnaire, let them know up front they're going to need to make an investment. And if they're not ready to make an investment, they're pretending. They're not serious. Those people who are ready to make an investment and have a level of cultural maturity, a level of business acumen that is respectable, at that point, those are the people that you want to work with because they understand that this is a process. And and you break down the romanticism. You can say, listen, it's beautiful over here, but these are some things that you might encounter. And so just get
that's ready. That's exactly why I have a 30-minute complimentary discovery call
There
before
you
we
go.
even talk money or business or land or anything. About 30 minutes, I'm telling them my experience. I'm giving their vision. I'm like, what do you want? This is what you need to do to get to where you want to get, and see if I'm even the one for them, you know?
And you can find out
So,
that they're crazy. You know, you can
right,
see. I
right.
can say this on this side. I can. That's really what you're doing.
Right.
But people real slick. They know how to. People know how to say the right things. There's this joke
Mm,
I have when I was in Ghana, and they a lot of Ghanaians would warn me about Nigerians, and then a lot of us here in America, them Nigerians, they gonna scam you. Them
mm-hmm,
Nigerians, they're crooks. Them Nigerians. And I said to them, I told my friends in Ghana, I said, I have been around Black Americans my whole life. I said, do
mm-hmm.
you understand some of the games these people have? I said, they're some of the
Right,
most beautiful people in the world. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking my
right.
folks, but I'm also not going to be disingenuous and tell you that I said, if I can deal with some of these Black Americans with some of the game they got, I can deal with
Mm,
Nigerians with some of the
right.
game they
We came from there, didn't we?
got. Right, right. so, so
We literally are the same. The only thing the difference is time. 400 years. That's
that's
it.
right. Time. And because we got the same colonial masters.
Yeah, that part. Come on.
Right. See, so it's all we've all had to survive. We've all had to adapt. We've all had to deal with all of this. Well,
And
Leslie, I
the
mean, this
fact that
conversation,
we're laughing about it right now is a blessing. Isn't that crazy?
it really is a blessing. And what
I
I
say.
encourage people, serious investors, serious people who understand the importance of investing in the continent of Africa. You want to talk to Leslie because she's done it. For those who are out
It's
there
done.
who are not serious, don't waste your time or her time.
Mm-mm.
But if you really want the real, that's one of the things I was hoping to bring in this conversation. That's what I was telling her. I said, Leslie, don't water this thing down. Just say it how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone understands that we love the continent of Africa, so there's no shade thrown. But we're
Right.
going to tell the truth. If we don't tell the
Mm-hmm.
truth, then we're not benefiting either side. We're setting each other up for
Mm-hmm.
disappointment, which
And
then
I just
turns
want to say
into go
one
ahead.
last thing.
Yeah, no, break it
So
down.
one of my passengers, she was from Ethiopia, and she got her bachelor's in African. Oh, I forgot the name. Um, anyways, basically studying Africa, and she told me how even to the flights, how they make flights. You have to pass Ghana, you have to pass certain countries to go to a British country, then you go to Africa. She's like, all of that is planned because they said if the Black American, this is what she said specifically, if the African American knew the business opportunities and how they could become millionaires very quickly, they would be here yesterday. Oh, she got her bachelor's in Pan African studies, and she said if you guys only knew, you guys would be here. I was like, well, I know. That's why I'm working on what I'm working with.
I know too. That's why I'm taking all these people back over there. That's why
Yeah.
I stopped, dropped, and rolled. Whatever they said, I said, "Oh, this is what's going on." Okay, okay, I get it.
So
I'm with you, Leslie. It's and so
it,
she told you that. She said that
she told me
from
that.
they plan the trips to go. That's why, because I always wonder why we always lust after Paris and lust after, we standing at the Eiffel Tower and
Mm-hmm.
but the iron comes from Algeria. But I never thought to vacation in Africa as a child. It never
Never,
crossed my
never.
mind.
They knew everyone because she said she grew up in the UK. They teach people in the UK that Africa is a beautiful place to be. So people in the UK have been vacationing in Africa like nothing. But for some reason in America, we're told, flies on eyeballs, big stomach, poverty, all that stuff to where we don't want to visit. So we have to come and visit ourselves and see the truth. But it seems like everyone else in other parts of the world knows the deal about Africa. So that's why I'm so grateful for your channel and what Maya, his channel too,
Yeah,
bringing the
well,
truth
as a
about.
matter of fact, we did a collab back over the summer. And I what I appreciate about what he does is that he's able to give, like, he'll show the glamour, but then I watched him go in on some countries. I was like, whoo. I was like, bro.
Yeah,
I sent him a message. I said, man, you the real deal. I said, see, now when I saw him go in, I was like, okay, all right, this is how it works.
right.
But he's able to balance it out. And because his thing is not to go in to destroy, but it's the call out stuff, because if people don't know that you're going to spend $2,500 to get a visa to go to a particular country, then you're going to, you could be set up for something. So he's definitely earned 1 million subscribers, and
Yes.
and all of it comes with that, the good and the bad.
The good and the
So
bad. He got lawyers now. He's on
yeah,
Cash
I'm
Out. I
not
saw
mad
one of
at
his
him. I'm not
videos.
mad
He's
at
like,
him. He's definitely an inspiration for a lot of people, and I wish him the best. And I know he's about to tie that knot. He's about to tie that knot.
yay, good for
So that's,
him.
yeah. So excited about that for him, and even with what Vanessa's doing, what Vanessa does, she's able to showcase a part of the Ghana that a lot of people don't get a chance to see. They don't know about Trosato and Villaggio and places like that. So I think all of it plays a part. Your story plays a part, my story, their stories, just all across the board. And those who have a genuine desire to bridge the gap, and that's what you see happening in all of this. You're doing it through business and through real estate and telling the real and going through the pain, not only just for your generations, but for other people who go through you. They're able to have that experience, and so I think it's a collective effort all of us have, and that's what's working, and that's what's inspiring so many people. Now there are people who are willing to go to Africa who never even, people tell me all the time, Jay, you are inspiring people who are to go to Africa who never even thought about going to Africa. They didn't even want to go to Africa.
My mom, my auntie, because of you, they're like, oh, maybe we can go visit Tarzania or Tanzania, and Kenya. Oh, Egypt, blessing, you want to go to the Egypt trip for Jay? Like, I'm like, I want to go to Sierra Leone. You need to put that together. How about that?
Well, I'm working on Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is probably going to be a 2024 trip. For us, we're going to add. I can tell you what's coming down the pike, because we did a survey, but I can tell you what's coming. We're going to add South Africa. We're going to add Kenya. We're going to add Ethiopia as soon as things settle down a little bit of Ethiopia. So it'll be like a Kenya, Ethiopia, Seychelles. So we're going to drop Seychelles in there. And then we're going to do Nigeria is coming, Nigeria for sure. And then with South Africa, we're going to do South Africa and Zimbabwe. So we'll tie those two together. And then when I get back to West Africa again, we're going to do Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Liberia, Ghana, Sierra Leone. So that's how. So I don't think we're going to do standalones. Well, we might, because somebody can just join in. But what I'm trying to do now is to combine it so people can get different flavors. So that, but you know what? I say that right now, and it can all change tomorrow.
It can all change tomorrow. I might get my land certificate tomorrow.
Yeah, I never planned on Nigeria like this, but you know what? We're gonna make Nigeria happen in 2022. And if 20 people came to me right now and said they want to go to Sierra Leone, guess what?
Sierra Leone is.
Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
We're gonna figure it out. I'll be right in Sierra Leone. So yeah, so we got to do this again. All right, so this is our update. Give the website where everybody can follow you, and of course your YouTube channel and your Instagram. Give all of your information so everybody can follow you.
So my website is www.vision-reality.com. Again, vision-reality.com. And you can subscribe to my channel at I am Leslie Jones, IAMLESLIEJONES, and follow my journey. Yeah, it's a good ride. I'm not gonna lie. It's been fun. It's been hard. I've cried. I've been mad. I've been all of the above, but it's worth it. And I'm glad that people are actually excited about it and joining my journey with me. So.
Well, I'm excited too. I can't wait till you start, when you break ground on the land.
Yes.
I'm going to do the 3-hour ride out to the land. When it's, I will come out to the land.
Yeah, grand opening.
Yeah, when you break ground and all of that, we'll definitely follow the journey, because people need to see it. People need to know that it's possible, and they need to know that this is, even though we hear the horror stories and somebody made a clerical error and this happened, and whatever the name of the company is that's running game up in the central region, people will figure out that everybody doesn't run game. You'll be able to walk them through the process, and I hope that you make millions of dollars. And I hope that people.
I received that, brother. Yeah. Speak live.
Shake it together. Right?
Speak live. Yes. Shout.
I know the lingo. I got a little something with me. All right. Well, listen, everybody, please be sure to follow. I am Leslie Jones on IG, on YouTube, and vision-reality.com. That's how you can follow her journey. And please reach out to her. If you're serious, please reach out to her. That's what this is all about. This is how we bridge the gap between the African diaspora and Africa. And with all of this, continue to make sure that you do your due diligence in whatever business investment opportunity that's out there. Don't be afraid, or even if you're afraid, still do it scared. But there's so many opportunities in Africa, not just for you, but those that you're able to employ on the continent. That's what we look at. And as long as you go and you prepare yourself culturally, you'll be good to go. So Leslie, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your insight and wisdom. And I look forward to joining you again when you break ground on your beach property, and we'll bring the cameras and everything and have that conversation.
Awesome. Yes, Jay. God bless.
Open up your eyes and see all the fun and mystery. Take an African adventure with Darren and Destiny. From the mountains to the shore, so many things to explore. Take an African adventure with Darren and Destiny.
The Adventures of Darren and Destiny. And Darren and Destiny are twin brother and sister, and you go on their adventures throughout the African diaspora, meaning so African diaspora destinations, primarily focused in Africa, but we go to South America, we're going to go to the Caribbean. Their first book is going to take you to Ghana, and then we're going to go on a safari, and from there we're going to go to Ethiopia, and then we go to Salvador, Brazil. And what the goal is to be able to inspire curiosity in the continent of Africa in our children from a very young age, and to really tell a more accurate story. Most of our children are exposed to negative images, late night infomercials about how bad things are, everybody's sick, everybody's poor, everyone's uneducated, but that's simply not true. So what Darren and Destiny and their family do is they go to different African destinations. They are learning about these different places. You're beginning to see positive images, but still telling the truth. I mean, that's the important thing, to tell the truth about some of the things that have occurred. But it's all done on a children's level, so they begin to understand it. And it begins to pique their curiosity. They begin to learn more. And hopefully one day they will want to explore and visit the continent of Africa and its many countries. There's just so much that Darren and Destiny are able to do, and as they're doing it, it's like they begin to open the minds of a new generation, and they don't get bombarded and indoctrinated with negativity. They're actually able to see positivity and inspiring images and messages about the African diaspora, as well as those who are still indigenous to the continent of Africa, and they begin to learn more and just see things differently. So I'm excited about introducing the Adventures of Darren and Destiny.